Very few things help you become better like training. Yes, very few things help you become better like training. And you see, nothing guarantees your reigning like training. Great evening, guys. Thank you so very much for joining us again on another exciting Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. Yes, this is the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, and you know we do this every Sundays from 7 p.m. through to 8 p.m. And we basically get to do four things. Yes, number one, we get to take your questions. So if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send in your questions. We'll gladly take them. Number two, we get to share with you the Upgrade Mastery tip for the week. And for this week, the Upgrade Mastery tip is training. Yes, training. Number three, we get to connect, network, and bond because we understand that we live in a world where connecting is very important and critical. So we take our time to connect, network, and bond in the comment section so that you can get to know yourselves from around the world that you watch the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. And number four, which is what I love the most, is that we get to have fun. Yes, because I strongly believe that if learning is not fun, there is no learning at all. So we get to have fun while we learn and while we do what we do on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. So I'm excited, right? I'm super excited. Now, one thing I want you to do for us is simple. Just share this link now with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and even your enemies. Put it on your status, put it on your post, put it on your group chat so that they can also get to join in and learn for themselves because sharing is caring, right? So I want you to do that for us while we'll continue this conversation. I'm excited. If you're excited, I want to see some fires in the comment section. I want to put in some emoji in the comment section so I know that you're really, really excited about this conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about training. And one thing I want you to realize is the fact that this is a very important conversation. And whether you like it or not, all of us are going through one form of training or another. And that's why we need to pay attention so we know the kind of training we have been involving ourselves with and the kind of training we should be involving ourselves with, right? Are you ready? Are you excited? Let me see some comments in the comment section to say, I'm ready, I'm excited, so we can get this show on the road. Let's get this show started. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade, we also begin with basic 5 questions. Now, these 5 questions help us to lay down the foundation upon which everything will be discussed will be built, right? We start off with the 5 questions so that you get a better understanding of the conversation and you're ready for what we're bringing your way. And like I always tell people, please have an open mind, right? Suspend everything you think you knew before about training and just have an open mind because that's the only way you get to truly learn what it is that we're trying to communicate to you. Remember, there is always more on the upgrade side of life, right? So get excited, get ready, get your pen and your paper, take note of the points that make the most sense to you. And you can always come back and watch the video any other time. But just take note of those points that really resonate for you as the live is going on. Now, and feel free to always send in your questions. So if you have any questions while the session is going on as you're watching, drop the questions in the comment and we'll respond to you, right? Now, what is training? We have people talk about training. What exactly is training? Why is training important? Why do we have to have conversations around training at this time? And I'll tell you what training is. Now, they say training is that activity that you go through so you can become a better person, right? Off your head. But let me tell you what training is. And our definitions, you won't find them anywhere. That's the truth. Even AI won't give those definitions that we share to you. So pay attention to the definitions that we share here. Now, what is training? Training, it is the formal and informal process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Did you get that? Training is the formal and informal process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. So while you're watching this, when you join us whenever we do any of our lives, whether it's the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade or the Upgrade Master just for you, you are going through training because you are learning, unlearning, and relearning. So training, it is the formal and informal process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. When this happens, you are going through training. Some people feel like they are only going through training when they sign up for a program, already register for a course, or they're in a boot camp. That's when they're going through training. No. Training takes place formally, it takes place informally. As long as there's learning, unlearning, and relearning, you are going through training. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Question number 2. Who's responsible for training? Who's responsible? The answer is you. You are responsible for training. You are responsible for putting yourself in places and spaces that enables training. So nobody's responsible for your training but you. So you as a person, you are responsible for training. So whether you are trained or not trained, it is your responsibility. So you cannot blame someone because you are not trained, because you are the one that is responsible for training. Are you getting this? Question number 3. Why training? Why do we have to talk about training? Why training? Why is training important? Why do we have a conversation around this subject of training? I'll tell you 3 reasons why. Number 1, for development. Training brings about development. That's why there is training. Whether it's formal or informal, the end goal is that there's development. You become a better person. Just like when you go through school, from primary school, from primary 1 to primary 5 or primary 6, you are developing. And all of those classes are training, right? So number 1 reason why training is development. The second reason why training is capacity. As you're going through training, your capacity is being built. Your capacity is being refined, right? You could see that you are not being able to do more because you are going through training. So there's the building of capacity that takes place in training. So why training? Capacity. The third reason why training is maturity. You know, Paul said something very striking. He said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, I taught as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That lets you know that through training, maturity happens, right? When you go through training, you mature because training helps you become a gem. You grow, you evolve, and you mature. Gem. So that's what happens in training. There's the maturity that you come into through training. And this is why it's important that people take training seriously. Because outside of training, you will not experience development, capacity, and maturity. Because training helps you to grow, to evolve, and to mature. So please do not take for granted training. Because training is actually shaping the person you are becoming. Are you getting this? Now, question number 4, right? Question number 4. What are the benefits of training? What do I stand to gain now that I'm going through training? What are the benefits of training? I'll tell you 3 simple benefits of training. Number 1, there's the knowledge gained. When you go through training, formal or informal, there's knowledge that you gain. What you didn't know before, you now know. There's knowledge gained through training, right? And that's very critical because even the scripture says that true knowledge shall the just be delivered. And I often say this, that people are not suffering from what they've done wrong. They're suffering from what they don't know. And that's why training is important, because through training, you gain knowledge. There's knowledge gained in training. The things you didn't know before, you start to know because you have gone through training. There's knowledge gained in training. Second benefit of training, there's skill acquired. when you go through training, you acquire skill, right? You become skillful when you go through training. And this is why training is very, very important, because there are certain skills that you acquire in the process of training. So you see, when people sign up for trainings, right? Let's say they go and learn a hard skill, for instance. Why they sign up for training? By the time they are done with the training, they would have acquired that hard skill that they signed up for. So let's say somebody enrolled for training to be a chef. I may come in day one, didn't know anything about how to be a chef, how to cook, and all of those things. But when the person is done with the training, the person has become certified to be a chef. Why? That skill of being a chef, the person has acquired it. So with training, skill is acquired. Whether it's hard or soft, through training, you acquire skill. Right? So the second reason why training, skill is acquired. The third reason why training is mastery attained. So as you go through training, you attain the level of mastery. I say this all the time, that every master was once a disaster who went through training. Are you getting this? I'll say that again. Every master was once a disaster who went through training. So what does that tell you? It lets you know, very simple, mastery is attained through training. So the more you train, the more you become a master. Remember those days when you watch those Chinese films, right? Back in the day, in the 90s. Sorry for the Gen Zs who may be watching. You see, the young boy is given to a master, and then the master is training the young boy, and then the enemy will come, and then they will kill the master. Then the boy will continue to practice all the training that the master taught him, and then he will now go back to revenge his master when he is now fully trained. And then when he defeats the enemy, he now becomes the master. So you see, with training, mastery is attained. That's why you cannot ignore, neglect, abdicate, or delegate training. Because if you do that, you will never attain mastery. Are you getting this? Question number 5. When is the best time for training? When is the best time for you to get involved with training? When is the best time for you to develop yourself and really get to go at training? When is the best time? I always say this, that the last best time for anything was yesterday. The next best time for training is now. Now is the best time for you to get yourself involved in training now. Right? Whether formal or informal, now is the best time for you to get yourself involved with training. Right? Now, I'd like you to know this, that the training you are avoiding is the training that you need most. That training that you are avoiding, that is the training that you need most. Because trust me, everyone, I repeat, everyone needs training. Now, let's get into training itself. Now that we've laid the foundation, let's talk about training in a way that you should begin to pay attention. Right? Training, Training, training. Right? We need to now get into this conversation of training and look at it holistically and see where we come in as regards training. We'll see where we fit in as regards training. Are we still here? Now, great. I see the T in training is time. Whether you like it or not, any good training takes time. No training happens overnight. Remember that analogy I used earlier of the young boy was sent to the master in those Chinese movies, right? You see that the young boy started the training as a young boy, but his training is completed when he's now mature. that takes time. Every real training takes time. You see, when you go and register, let's say to learn fashion designing, you register to be there for like a year or sometimes 2 years. It takes time. There is no training that is instant. Even when you go for military training, it takes time. No training is instant. Every real training takes time. Every real training takes time. And that's why you must give yourself to the time the training require. Because whether you use that time or you waste the time will pass. So it's more important to invest that time in the training because time will still pass. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Time will still pass. Whether you do something or you do nothing, time will pass. So it's important that you do something with the time and not just do something. Involve yourself with training with the time because training takes time. Training takes time. Are you getting this? Training takes time. So the first thing about training is time. No training is instant. No training happens overnight. Training takes time. So the T in training is time, right? Now, the R in training is responsibility. Every training involves taking responsibility. That's why I said earlier that you cannot delegate training that you need for yourself. You can't delegate it and say, okay, somebody will train on your behalf. You can't delegate training. It's your responsibility, right? You cannot abdicate training. It's something that you must take as a responsibility. So it's important that you understand the responsibility you need to take in training. So let's even say you sign up for a training school to become a fashion designer, for example, and you register, you paid, and then you don't show up for class. And even when you show up, you don't participate, you don't do what you are told to do, you don't actually practice. You are not taking responsibility for your training. The 1 year would have passed and you will leave or you will not have been trained because there's the responsibility that you have to take when it comes to training. Nobody can help you train you the way you would train you. So get yourself involved, roll up your sleeves, get yourself involved because there's the responsibility that you must put in the training. Are you getting this? Because you are in training doesn't mean you are being trained if you don't put the responsibility for training. Do you get that? Now, the A in training is ability. The reason why you've come into training is because you want to improve your ability. You want to build your ability into capacity, into capability, into competence. That's why you are in training. You are bringing your ability so it can be refined. So everyone in training comes with their ability. Now that ability that they come with through the training, that ability is now refined, into capacity, into capability, into competency because they are in training. I've seen how these things play out. So you must understand that you cannot do any training without bringing your ability. You getting this? So training is not going to put into you what was not already in you. Are you getting this? So anytime you get yourself involved in training, you are getting yourself to refine the ability that you already know that you have. That's why you're going through training. So Usain Bolt, for instance, already knew he could run. And then he went through training and became the fastest man alive. Training refines your ability. It refines it. It makes it better than it currently is. So that's why you go through training. So your ability is refined. The I in training is intentional. Every training is intentional. Whether it's formal or informal, training is intentional. There's something the training is designed for. There's a goal the training hopes to achieve. Every training is intentional. So you cannot see someone like a Usain Bolt who is supposed to do sprints, not training for sprints, but training for swimming. Or a Michael Phelps who's supposed to be doing swimming, not training for swimming, but training for sprints. So every training is intentional. Are you getting this? So they say trying to make a monkey swim will make the monkey always feel it doesn't have any ability, because that's not the right training for a monkey. So every training is intentional. There's the goal, there's what to be achieved, there's the mark to hit. Is intentional. I remember a time I was reading about Michael Phelps. I know, interestingly, in the story of Michael Phelps, it was his sister that actually started swimming before him. When he started swimming, his coach looked at him and said, in 6 months, you'll become a world champion. His coach could see the ability that Phelps already had. But he said, okay, if he's trained, in 6 months, he could become a world champion. And true, in 6 months, Phelps became a world champion. And you could read about Michael Phelps. He's the greatest Olympian ever. He started out because someone gave him intentional training when it comes to swimming. So training is intentional. Are you getting it? Now, the N in training is necessity, the first N. See, guys, you cannot take away training. You cannot replace training. That's how of necessity training is. You cannot take it away. You cannot replace it. It's either training or training. There's no substitute to training. The substitute to training is training. That's how of necessity training is. You cannot replace training. Are you getting this? So the first N in training is necessity. Anyone who truly wants to be great must go through training. It's of necessity. If you want to be mediocre, you want to be average, that's fine. You probably will not need training. But if you want to be excellent, you want to become the standard, you must go through training. It is of necessity that you go through training. Of necessity. You cannot not train. It's of necessity. The other I in training is instruction. Training gives you a set of instructions to follow. Like training has a guide, a path you have to follow. Training has a regiment that you must comply to. Right? There's instruction that goes with training. So you cannot do what you like when it comes to training. No, there's instruction. I know we live in a world where people just want to do whatever they like. They just want to do as they please. When it comes to training, there are instructions you must follow. You must comply. You must adhere. You can't do what you like when it's training. You do the instruction of the training, not what you like. So the second I in training is instruction. The second N in training is never ending. See this, as long as you're alive, you always be going through training. Training never ends. Do you get that? Training is never ending. As long as you are alive, you'll be going through training. You will be going through training. It's never ending. The only time training ends is when you are dead. So if you feel like, oh, I've stopped training, you have only just said you have started dying. Because training is learning, and learning never stops. That's why it's called lifelong learning. Learning never stops. You keep learning, you keep training. It is never ending. Right? Training is never ending. And finally, the G in training is growth. Training will always produce growth. You do not become the same person who started the training. You become a different person after the training. That's why Paul said, when I was a child, I taught as a child, I understood as a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, when I've gone through training, I put away childish things. I put away childish things. But there are things that are childish. Training helps you put them away because there is growth, there's maturity. So you put away childish things. Have you noticed that over time, things you used to do, you no longer do them anymore? That's growth. That's training. I remember we said training can either be formal or informal. That's training. That's growth. Things you used to do in 2023, you no longer do them in 2025. That's growth. That's training. Are you getting this? So this is what training represents. Time, responsibility, your ability, intentional, necessity, instruction, never-ending growth. This, my friends, this is training. And the question to you now is, are you ready for training? Like I said earlier, there is no substitute to training. You cannot replace training with anything else. It's either training or training. There's no other way around it. Are you getting this? Now, there are three things about training I want you to know. Three things about training. Number one, it pushes you. There is no training that you are involved with that will not push you. Training will push you. Push you out of your comfort zone. It will push you out of your seat of comfort, your seat of convenience. It will push you. Training will push you. If training doesn't push you, the training has not started. Did you get that? If the training does not push you, the training has not started, because training will push you. It will push you. You begin to do things you have never done before. Training will push you. So the first thing about training is that it pushes. It pushes. The second thing about training is that it stretches. Anything about stretching, you never go back to the original when you stretch. Just like rubber band. When it stretches, it doesn't go back to how it was before. Training will stretch you. First, it will push you, then it will stretch you. That's training. You know, if you just start doing push-up, for instance, you could do like 10 and you're exhausted. Yeah, man, you're tired. But as you continue to do push-ups, right? You're exercising in your room, you're doing push-up. Soon you see that you start to stretch yourself. You're not able to do 20. You're not able to do 30. You're not able to do 40 at a stretch. That's stretching that comes with training. This was you a while back that could not even do 10. Now you're doing 30, you're doing 40, you're doing 50. At some point, you could even do 100 on a go. Why? You have stretched. That's what training does to you. It will stretch you. Any true training you are involved with will stretch you. Except you are not doing training. If you are doing training, it will stretch you. And the third thing about training is that it helps in becoming. As you are being trained, as you are going through training, you are becoming. You know, like Paul said, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. I understood as a child. I taught as a child. When I became a man, I put away. He became. Training helps in your becoming. Are you getting this? Training helps in your becoming. There's always the becoming process that happens in training. You are becoming, and not who you used to be. You are becoming someone better. A new version of you is emerging because of training. So 3 things about training: it pushes you, it stretches you, it helps in your becoming. That's why people get involved in training. Are you getting this? Let me know that you're getting this. Put in your comment section, let me know you're getting this. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Just start making sense so I know that you're following. Just start making sense, right? Now you see, there are 2 traits of training. Anyone going through training will exhibit these 2 traits, right? If you can't find these 2 traits, this person is not going through training. Number 1, thank you so much. I see that making sense. Thank you so much. The first trait of training is the willingness to learn. You know, I tell people this all the time, that you must learn to become fat. F-A-T. And I'm talking about size. I'm talking about faithful, accessible, and teachable. Training helps you to become fat. You're faithful, you're accessible, you are teachable. You see, the first trait in the 2 traits of training is the willingness to learn. You're curious, you are learning, you have the willingness. You know, even scripture says, he that is willing and obedient, he will eat the good of the land. So there's a place for your willingness if you want to eat the good of the land. The same thing for training. You must have the willingness to learn. That's how you are being trained. If you don't have the willingness to learn, you're not going through training. Are we still together? You're not going through training if you don't have the willingness to learn. I told you about the example of somebody who will go and register for a fashion school. You're going there because you have the willingness to learn fashion. You see that trait, the willingness to learn. The second trait in training is the dedication to practice. The first is the willingness to learn. The second is the dedication to practice. You've often heard me say this, that the proof of any learning is practice, and the proof of practice is result. The second trait of training is your dedication to practice. So see, using that analogy of going to a fashion school, as you are being taught with your willingness to learn, when you go back, you are practicing, your dedication to practice. That is the 2 traits of training. You will see the willingness to learn, you will see the dedication to practice. If you can't find these 2 traits, that person is not ready for that training. Regardless of the field. If you can't find these 2 traits of willingness to learn and dedication to practice, that person is not ready for the training. The person is just wasting his or her time and the time of the trainer. Are you getting this? Is this making sense, right? Now, the one goal of training, like, by the way, feel free to ask a question. If you have any questions as you're watching and something's coming to your mind, you want to ask, use the comment section, ask a question. We'll gladly take the questions, right? The one goal of training is capacity building. Nothing builds your capacity like training, right? Capacity building. As you are training, you are becoming better. Capacity is being built. So the goal of the training is capacity building. The young chap who walked in to register for a fashion school comes out and becomes a great fashion designer. The capacity has been built. Are you getting this? So the one goal of training, regardless of the field or profession, is capacity building. Because as you keep training, your capacity is being built. As you keep training, your capacity is being built. Are we still together? Is this making sense? Great. Now, you see this. Training can either be formal or informal. Remember, I told you this earlier when I defined training. I told you that training, it is the formal and informal process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. So training can either be formal or informal. Formal in the sense that, oh, there's a laid down path you have to follow. There's a curriculum you have to follow, laid down training. But there's also informal training, where just being in a certain space is exposing you up to a lot of other things. That's an informal setting of training. Just observing things is an informal setting of training. But the truth is this, whether it is formal or informal, the bottom line is that training is happening. And you see, unfortunately, what we see in society today, there's so many informal trainings for the wrong things. Look at social media. So many things that people are learning online that they don't even know they are learning. They don't even know, but they are learning. Because as we go further on this conversation, you discover that whatever thing you are spending time on, you are learning from that thing. Whatever thing you are spending time on, you are learning from that thing. That thing is training you. That thing is training you. But don't worry, we're going to get there. Right? So you see, what is most important that we need to know is that we must, as a matter of urgency, be getting people to take responsibility when it comes to their training. Because you see, getting people to take responsibility is a form of training itself. Let people know that your life is your responsibility. Nobody's coming to save you. You are your own rescue. So train yourself. You have no excuse not to be trained. You say, oh, my parents didn't send me to school, that's why I'm an illiterate. No, you have no excuse, because excuses at its best are good reasons for bad results. They are the tools of the incompetent, and they that use them are not wise. So you must be taking responsibility for your training. You have no excuse. And it's interesting that training is either formal or informal. So even if you couldn't get a formal training, get an informal training. No excuse. Take responsibility. No excuses. See, let me tell you this. The things and the people that impacted you the most, they didn't tell you that they were training you. Now, this will shock you. The things and the people that impacted you the most, they did not sit you down to say they are training you, but they were training you. That's why we say this training, a large percentage of training is even informal than even formal. Ask yourself, the things that has impacted you the most, many times they came out from informal situation. Those things didn't sit you down to say, oh, we are training you on this. No. Are you getting this? When you lose money in a business, you have gotten financial training. You have learned how not to lose money again. But it trained you. I tell people this all the time, that your losses are actually training costs. It's the cost you pay for the learning you got. Those losses are training costs. So don't look at them as losses, look at them as training costs. Because the people who impacted you the most and the things that impacted you the most, they didn't tell you that they were training you, but they were training you. But they were training you. Are you getting this? So you must understand this. Thank you so much for that feedback. Central Craft, Sense Craft. Thank you so much for that feedback, Sense Craft, right? Yeah, I see your comments. Making sense. Thank you so much, Sense Craft. Then I see the comment again. Very true, sir. Yeah, very true. The things and the people that are impacting you the most, they didn't sit you down to say, oh, I'm training you. No, but they were training you. Those things were training you. Those people were training you. See, most times, those things we see as stress and inconveniencing is actually training. Did you get that? Those things that you see as stress and inconveniencing, they were actually training. Remember, I told you earlier that training will push you, training will stretch you until you are becoming. So those things that we see as stress, as inconveniencing, is actually training. It's actually training. See, I'll tell you the truth. If training was easy, everybody would be trained. Training is not easy. Training is stressful. Training is inconveniencing. And I guess that's why a lot of people don't get themselves involved in training. But not you. You have to get yourself involved in training. You have to get yourself involved in training because you have no excuse not to be trained. And see what we do here every Sundays on the Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. This is training too for you. It's training too for me. And the scripture says, iron sharpens iron, so every man the countenance of his friend. It's training. We are training ourselves here. Are we still together? Now, never forget this. Those who sweat in training, they don't bleed in battle. Did you get that? Those who sweat in training, they don't bleed in battle. They don't bleed in battle because the training has prepared them. You see, while David killed the lion and the bear, that was his training towards Goliath. And I dare say that perhaps the lion may have scratched him because he attacked the lion. Like the lion may have scratched him, the lion may have injured him. But when he fought Goliath, Goliath did not even touch him. It was flawless victory. One sling and stone, Goliath was down. David took Goliath's sword and cut off Goliath's head. Fatality. If you ever played Mortal Kombat back in the day, you understand what I'm talking about. With one sling, Goliath was down. And David took Goliath's own sword and cut off Goliath's head. Fatality. It was flawless victory and fatality because he had bled while he killed the lion and the bear. That was his training towards Goliath. Those who sweat in training, they don't bleed in battle. Don't bleed in battle. Because the training had already prepared them for the battle. Are you getting this, guys? Is this making sense? Let me know that this is making sense for you. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Right? Let me know. Put your best emoji in the comment section so I know you're still here, right? Let me just know that you're still following. Are you enjoying this, right? Is this making sense for you? I just want to know, right? I just want to know, right? And like I said, do well to share this with your friends, your family, your loved ones, and even your enemies. Just share, right? Share with them. They too need to go through training. Put on your status, make a post of this, do a video of it and share. It's okay. Because people need to go through training. They need to hear this. Very important. Right? And if you have questions, feel free to ask, right? If you have any question that crosses your mind while the conversation is up, feel free to ask a question. And even when you're watching the replay and you have a question, leave it in the comments. Right? Thank you so much. I see you. Right? Now, you see, who is training you is not as important as the training you are receiving. Now, let me explain this. Sometimes people will say, oh, I don't like that person. That person cannot train me. No. Don't be stupid. Sorry, pardon my French. Don't be stupid. Who is training you is not as important as the training you are receiving. Samuel was in the house of Eli, the prophet. Eli had two sons that didn't have sense, Hophni and Phinehas. They were doing rubbish. Yet Samuel was receiving training in the same house where two other sons were being stupid. Samuel still regarded Eli, that when he heard the voice of God, he went to Eli saying, "You called me." Eli now told him, after the third time Samuel came, "I'm not the one calling you, it's God that's calling you. So when you hear that voice, say to it, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant heareth.'" Samuel did not disregard Eli. So who is training you is not as important as the training you are receiving. So you don't need to like the person that is training you. Get the training that you need to get. Is this making sense for you? You don't need to like the person who's training you. Get the training you need to get. See, you don't need to like me. So I don't have to become your coach. No, but get the training that I'm offering you for free. Get it. Is this making sense for you? So who is training you is not as important as the training that you are receiving. That is what is most important, not who is training you. See, even from a wicked boss, you can learn how not to become a wicked boss too. Bishop Bentley also once said that even from a fool, you can learn how not to become a fool. Are you getting this? So, who is training you is not as important as the training you are receiving. So swallow your pride, let your ego go and get the training you need to get. No, I don't like the person. No, see, that's still childish. That is still childish. Samuel was in the house of Eli. He was receiving training on how to become a prophet. In the same house of Eli, why that Hophni and Phinehas died the same day. Eli heard the news and he fell on his chair and his neck broke and he also died. One of the son's wife that was put into bed, gave birth and named the child Ichabod. The glory has departed. Yet Samuel came out from that whole process. Who is training you is not as important as the training that you are receiving. Thank you so much. 100, guys. That's 100. 100, guys. That's it. Now, there are 5 key areas that you need training. 5 key areas that you need training. Number 1, spiritually, you need training. I will tell you again for free. You know, I always tell you things for free. Life is spiritual. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. Did you get that? Life is spiritual. Whether you believe it or not is irrelevant. So, get this. Spiritually, you need training. You need training. Mentally, you need training. Now that there's AI everywhere, people are losing their senses, they're losing their thinking, they're allowing AI do thinking for themselves. I did an extensive teaching last week on thinking. Why you should not let AI replace your thinking. That's to remind you that mentally you need training. Mentally you need training. Emotionally you need training. You cannot be reacting by every instant. No, you need emotional stability. You need training emotionally. You need to have emotional intelligence. You need training emotionally. Financially, you need training. I tell people this all the time. You can save your way into poverty. I'm just saving. You can save your way into poverty. So financially, you need training. You need to learn how to make money, how to save money, and how to grow money, the MSG of money. In fact, I put out a book about this in 2020 during the pandemic. How to save yourself into poverty. How to save yourself into poverty. Right? Why am I sharing this with you? Very important. Because financially, you need training. You need training financially. Physically, you also need training. Exercise, you need training. And I'm not saying going to the gym. right? That's another day's conversation. A lot of things happen in the gym. I must know, just waking up in your own space, doing your own exercise is part of training. Doing your own little small routines before you take your bath in the morning is part of training, physical training, because your body needs it. Your body needs those physical training. Taking walks, it's part of your physical training. Your body needs it. So 5 key areas you need training: spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically. You need training in all 5 areas to have a healthy work-life integration. You need training. And see, unfortunately, those who need training the most are the ones that act like they do not need training. It's just hilarious. That's mental, bro. Oh my God. Those who need training the most are the same people who are saying they don't need training. Is it not absurd? It's a laughable situation. Like Obayagon says, a pitiable Bismarck Disma. It is regrettably laborious. Right? Those who need training the most are the ones who are acting like they don't need training. Sense craft, you're laughing. It's the truth. Come on, it's the truth. Tell people you need to be trained. I beg you, I understand. In fact, they'll tell you, I have Google, I have AI. For real? But it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I understand. It's fine. It's fine. See this, guys. In Proverbs 22, verse 6, scripture says, train up a child. You know, if you ever went through Sunday school as a child, you probably know this verse I'm quoting now. Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Right? But what people forget the most is that in that same Proverbs 22, in verse 29, it says, seest thou a man who is diligent in his deeds, he will stand before kings and not mean men. So if you look at it holistically, it is the training that leads you to diligence. Are you getting this? So see how this thing tie up together. Proverbs 22, 6 says, train up a child in the way he should go, that when he's old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22, 29 says, seest thou a man that is diligent in his deeds, he will stand before kings and not mean men. So it is the training that produces the diligence. 2 things that training produces. Number 1, diligence. Number 2, excellence. These 2 things are what training produces. Training will produce diligence. Training will produce excellence. You always see this as the product of training. People who are going through training or people who have gone through training, you always see these 2 things. You're diligent, you're excellent. Are you getting this? Are you loving this conversation? Are you seeing why you need training? See, sometimes you do not see the result of training immediately, but the result will show eventually. Remember, I told you that training takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you do not see the result of training immediately, but you will always see the result of training eventually. Eventually, you will see the result of training. But immediately, you won't see it, but eventually, you will see it. That's why Paul said, when I was a child, taught as a child, I understood as a child, I spoke as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's the effect of training. And you see, consistency is critical in all forms of training. In all forms of training you may be involved or engaged in, consistency is critical. Consistency is critical. In all forms of training, you must be consistent. Remember Proverbs 22, verse 6 and 29 is the path of consistency. From the child became the man that is diligent in his deeds. Consistency. Consistency is central in all forms of training. All forms. And see, training follows core principles of progress, adaptation, and feedback. In training, you will see the progress, you will see the adaptation, you will see the feedback. That's training, guys. That's training. And you see, training brings to focus discipline, leadership, and survival to thriving. Training brings to focus discipline, leadership, survival to thriving. So you survive the training and then you thrive with the training. And see, with training, you learn both soft skills and hard skills. You need both soft skills and hard skills training. You need both of them. Soft skills, hard skills. You will need both of them during your training. Right? And training requires practice. As you train, you practice. As you train, you practice. As you train, you practice. Thank you so much. Correct, 100. As you train, you practice. As you train, you practice. Training requires practice. Practice, practice, practice. Because the proof of practice is results. And training requires practice. Now, see what scripture says in 2 Timothy 3:16, the English Standard Version, ESV. It says this: all scripture is breathed out by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, and for training in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, equipped for every good work. So even the man of God needs all scripture. And that's part of his training in righteousness. That's why you could see that Peter could say to the Grecian widows in Acts chapter 6, he says, we will not leave the ministry of the word and prayers to now be serving tables. Because that is their core of training as apostles. The ministry of the word and prayers. In Luke 6, verse 40, the NIV, New International Version, it says that the student is not above the master. He's not above the teacher. But everyone who is fully trained will be like the teacher. Anyone who is fully trained will be like the teacher. And in Acts chapter 4, verse 13, it explains this well. The Bible says, and then they began to understand the effect Jesus had on them simply by spending time with him. So when they now saw the disciples in Antioch, they called them Christians because they were like Christ. Which means while they were with Christ for the 3.5 years they were with Christ, Christ was training them. And now they were now like Christ. And they called them Christians. They said these ones are Christ-like Christians. So those unbelievers that called believers Christians, when they saw that they were like Christ, the one that had trained them. But the key word, like I said earlier, the T in training is time. These disciples have spent time with Jesus. Jesus had told them earlier while he was recruiting them, he said, follow me and I will make you. Follow me and I will make you. And I told you this earlier in this conversation. I said, time is a key aspect in training. And whatever you are spending time on is training you. You are spending time on Instagram. Instagram is training you. You are spending time on TikTok. TikTok is training you. You are spending time with AI. AI is training you. Anything you are spending time on, that thing is training you. Anyone you are spending time with, that one is training you. No wonder Paul could tell the people, says, follow me as I follow Christ. Are you getting this? Is this making sense? Wherever you are spending time on, that thing is training you. Guys, this is it. This is it. This is our session today on training. And I hope that you've been able to get the salient points that I have shared. Right? And I will encourage you to sit back and watch this again. Once watch is not enough, watch it again. Watch it again. So that you can really understand what it is that I'm sharing with you. Because the truth is this, we all need training, including myself. We all need training. That's the only way we can ever become all that we can be when we go through training. So don't play down on training. Don't play it down because you need it. I dare say that you need training more than training needs you. Did you get that? You need training more than training needs you. So guys, this is it. If you have any questions, please share. Like I said, share as you're watching the live, share your questions. And if you watch the replay, also share your questions, right? So that we can be able to give you some clarification. Like I always say, questions are more important than answers. So you can share your questions if you have. And if you got any point that really stood out for you, leave it as a comment. So others can also learn from you when they watch this. Are you getting this? So guys, this is it. While we wait for your questions, remember, this is the Upgrade Mastery, Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade. Upgrade Mastery just for you is what we do on Fridays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Upgrade Live with Mr. Upgrade is what we do on Sundays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., right? Whichever one, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notification, and share with others, right? Share with others. A lot of people need to hear this and learn. So share with them. That's one way you'll be helping them on their upgrade journey. Introduce this to them, right? Everybody needs that introduction. Introduce this to them. Just the same way John introduced Jesus and he said, behold the Lamb of God that takes away the sins of the world. So introduce this to people and say, behold the upgrade channel that helps you to leave good behind to upgrade. So introduce it to them. Do that introduction for us. We'll be grateful for it, right? Like we always say, 3 things will happen for you in this new week. 3 things will happen for you in this new week. Number 1, increased voice of God. Number 2, open heavens over your life. And number 3, more angelic activities in all that you do. Remember, guys, remember, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. And that's why we encourage you that you leave good behind so that you can upgrade. And what better way for you to upgrade but to get yourself involved in training? Remember, those who sweat in training, they don't bleed in battle. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you. Do well to share with your friends, your families, your loved ones, and even your enemies. Share it with them because sharing is caring. Until I come your way another time, thank you so much, all of you that joined. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm super grateful. Thank you for enjoying the session. Do well to share with your friends so they too can enjoy the session. Remember, there's always more on the upgrade side of life. And that's why we encourage you that you leave good behind so that you can upgrade.